Hello, I am Rajendra Rao, lecturer in physics. Today I am going to explain some of the important problems of topics of system of particles and rotational motion. Now we can move on to questions straight away. Question number 1. A child is standing at one end of a trolley moving with a speed v on a smooth horizontal track. If the child starts running towards the other end of the trolley with a speed u, the center of mass of the system, that is a trolley plus child, will move with a speed. Here, as given in the question, trolley and child can be taken as a system. This is a system, and as given in the problem, this moves with a speed v. Now, you know that child is internal to the system. When child start walking towards other end, so you know that what child exert force on a trolley, it is internal to the system. So internal force does not change the state of the system. Only external force can change. Here external force acting on the system is 0. So system of the velocity of the system remains same. So system moves with the speed v only. So option D is the correct answer. Now question number 2. 3 point masses m1, m2 and m3 are located at the vertices of equilateral triangle of side A. What is the moment of inertia of the system about an axis along the altitude of the triangle passing through mass m1? Now, before moving on to the question, we can discuss some important basics related to the moment of inertia. Consider a particle of mass m moving around the axis, then moving around the axis from a perpendicular distance r from the axis. Now, moment of inertia of this particle about the axis can be written as I is equal to mr square. Here, as given in the problem, there are 3 particles of mass m1, m2 and m3 located at the vertices of the triangle m1, m2 and m3. Question asked here that moment of inertia of this system, means moment of inertia of this triangle about the axis is how much? Axis must passes through the altitude of the triangle. Now moment of inertia of this system, I can be written as I is equal to m1 r1 square plus m2 r2 square plus m3 r3 square. That is total moment of inertia of the system I is equal to m1, where r1 is perpendicular distance from particle to axis. Since particle is on the axis itself, perpendicular distance from axis to particle is 0, so into 0 square plus m2 r2. You just look at these masses separated by distance a. Now distance from this mass m2 to axis is a by 2, this is also a by 2, so the total distance is a only. Now r2 square is the distance from particle to axis, which is a by 2 whole square, plus m3 into a by 2 whole square. That is I is equal to, this one is 0, that is m2 plus m3 into a square by 4 is the correct answer. Here option is, it is B is the correct option. B is the correct option. Question number 3. A carpet of mass m made of an inextensible material is rolled along its length in the form of cylinder of radius r kept on a rough floor. If the carpet is unrolled without sliding to a radius r by 2, the decrease in potential energy is how much? So you know that when we think about potential energy PE is equal to mgh. This is the formula to calculate potential energy. Here it is a carpet, it is rolled in the form of cylinder. Carpet rolled in the form of cylinder. Say r is the radius of the carpet and d is width of the carpet. Here, before calculating potential energy of this system, we can just find out mass of the carpet. It is mass of the carpet. M is equal to, you know that mass is equal to volume into density. It is volume is pi r square into d into density. So this mass as given in the problem, it is capital letter M. Now potential energy, initial potential energy of the system, that is PEI, can be written as mass, it is M into it is G into H. That is initial potential energy PEI is equal to, it is M is pi r square into diameter d into rho into G into H is H. Actually potential energy we calculate for point mass from ground to certain height. Here carpet is extended body. For extended body, height can be found from ground to center of mass of the carpet. Since center of mass of the carpet is at a distance r, we can just write H as r only here. That is initial potential energy. Final potential energy, when carpet is unrolled to a radius r by 2, to a radius r by 2, final potential energy can be written as potential energy final is equal to, here mass of the carpet is pi into r is r by 2, so r by 2 whole square into rho into d into g, and it is r by 2 only. Height is r by 2 now. This is the height is r by 2. So potential energy final is equal to, it is pi r square d into rho into g into r divided by it is 8. So potential energy final PEF is equal to M into G into R divided by 8. Decrease in potential energy, it is delta PE can be written as, it is potential energy initial minus potential energy final. Initial potential energy is mgr, final potential energy is mgr by 8. So finally change in potential energy or decrease in potential energy is 7 by 8 mgr. That is option 4 is the correct option. Option D is the correct option. Option D is the correct one. Question number 4. Circular ring of mass M and radius r is rotating about its axis at an angular frequency omega. Two blocks, each of mass m, are gently placed on opposite ends of a diameter of the ring. Angular frequency of the ring becomes omega dash. Then ratio of omega dash by omega is asked. Here initially ring is rotating about the axis. Ring is rotating about the axis. So you know initial angular momentum L initial is equal to I into omega. That is L initial is equal to, I is moment of inertia of the circular ring about the axis. Moment of inertia of the circular ring about the axis is mr square into omega. So initial angular momentum is mr square into omega. Now same circular coil we can consider where we can place two blocks on the opposite end of the diameter. Two blocks are placed at the opposite end of the diameter, each of mass m. Now definitely angular velocity of this circular ring changes. But because of no torque is acting on the system, angular momentum value, initial and final value is same. Final angular momentum value, L final, can be written as, it is total moment of inertia, that is moment of inertia of the two block, mass m, Im, plus moment of inertia of the circular ring into r square into omega dash. So L final is equal to moment of inertia of small block which is kept at the end of the diameter of the ring. It is m into r square plus m into r square plus moment of inertia of the circular ring, as already we have written, it is m r square into omega dash. So L final is equal to m r square plus m r square, which is 2m r square plus m r square into omega dash, that is L final is equal to 2m plus m into r square omega dash. So since there is no torque acting on the system, torque acting on the system is 0, L final is equal to L initial. L final is, it is 2m plus m into r square into omega dash. Initial angular momentum is m r square omega. Here r square is common, so r square get cancelled. So omega dash can be written as, it is m divided by m plus 2m into omega. So option is, it is m divided by m plus 2m into omega. That means it is omega dash divided by omega is m divided by m plus 2m. m plus 2m. Option A is the correct answer. Two particles of the same mass moves in the xy plane with velocity 2i cap meter per second and 3j cap meter per second. First particle is given acceleration 2i cap plus 2j cap meter per second square, and the second particle is given an acceleration 2i cap plus 4j cap meter per second square. The center of mass of the system of the two particles will move along is a question here. So here two particles moving with a velocity v1 is equal to 2i cap, v2 is equal to, it is 3j cap. Similarly, acceleration given to first particle a1 is equal to 2i cap plus 2j cap, and acceleration given to second particle is a2 is equal to, it is 2i cap plus 4j cap. Now to decide the path of the center of mass of the system of the particle, we should find out velocity of center of mass of the particle and acceleration of center of mass of the particle. Now velocity of center of mass of the two particle can be found by using the formula. It is VCM is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2 divided by m1 plus m2. Since both the particle have same mass, that is m1 is equal to m2, VCM can be written as, it is v1 plus v2 divided by 2. If I substitute the value of v1 plus v2, v1 is 2i cap plus v2 is 3j cap divided by 2 means 1 by 2. This is velocity of center of mass of system of two particle. Similarly, acceleration of center of mass of the two particle can be found by using the formula ACM is equal to m1 a1 plus m2 a2 divided by m1 plus m2. You know that masses of both the particles same, it is m1 is equal to m2, so ACM can be written as, ACM is equal to a1 plus a2 divided by 2, that is ACM is equal to a1 plus a2 divided by 2. Just substitute the value of a1. A1 is 2i cap plus 2j cap plus a2 is 2i cap plus 4j cap divided by whole divided by 2, that is ACM is equal to 4i cap plus 6j cap divided by 2, which is equal to 2i cap plus 4 by 2 is 2, 6 by 2 is 3, 3 j cap. This is acceleration of center of mass of the system of the particle. If you just compare VCM and ACM, direction of both velocity and acceleration is same. So center of mass of the system of two particle moves along a straight line. Option A is correct answer here. Question number 6. 3 rods, each of mass m, length L, are welded together to form an equilateral triangle. Moment of inertia of the triangular frame about an axis passing through the centroid and perpendicular to the plane. To find out moment of inertia, we can just form triangle, and these are the 3 rods welded in the form of triangle. And I take this rod as first rod, this rod as second rod, this rod as third rod. Before finding out moment of inertia of the system, we can just find out distance from center of the rod to the centroid, distance from center of the second rod to the center, and third rod to the center. So this point I would like to take as A, and this as B, and this as C. So you know this point is O. Here length of the rod is L, and since it is an equilateral triangle, length is same. Value of side of each side of triangle is same. So OA is equal to OB is equal to OC, which is equal to L by 2 into root 3. That is the value from center of each rod to centroid. Now we can find out moment of inertia of system of triangle. So here moment of inertia of system of triangle I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. Since mass of each rod is m and distance from each center of each rod to centroid is same, we can take I1 is equal to I2 is equal to I3, which is equal to I0. So I can be written as I is equal to 3 I0. Now I0 is moment of inertia of the rod, of any rod about the centroid. That is, to calculate moment of inertia of any rod about the centroid, we can use parallel axis theorem. According to parallel axis theorem, moment of inertia of this rod about the center is moment of inertia of the rod about the center plus m into x square. This distance we can take as x. So if I use the formula, I0 is equal to, it is ICM plus m into x square. Here ICM, moment of inertia of the rod about the axis passing through the center perpendicular to the length is m L square divided by 2 plus m into x square. X is L by 2 root 3 whole square. So I0 is equal to m L square divided by, this is 2L, divided by 2L plus m L square divided by 2L, which is equal to m L square divided by 6. Now this is moment of inertia of single rod, moment of inertia of 3 rod, that is means moment of inertia of system of system, it is I is equal to 3 I0, which is equal to m L square divided by 6 into 3, which is equal to m L square divided by 2. So option, it is option D is correct answer. Question number 7. A car of mass 1000 kg is moving with a velocity of 10 meter per second towards another car of mass 1500 kg moving with a velocity 15 meter per second in the same direction. Find velocity of center of mass of the two cars. As you know that velocity of center of mass of the two car can be found by using the formula m1 v1 plus m2 v2 divided by m1 plus m2. That is VCM is equal to m1, it is 1000 kg into v1 is 10 plus m2, it is 1500 kg into V2 is 15 divided by 1000 plus M2 is 1500. VCM is equal to 1000 into 10, it is 10,000 plus 15 into 15, 225, 22,500 divided by, it is 1000 plus 1500, 2500. VCM is equal to 10,000 plus 22,500, it is 32,500 divided by 2,500. 0 get cancelled. 325 by 25, it is 13 meter per second is the correct answer. Option here, it is A. A is the correct option. Question number 8. Force F is equal to 2I cap plus 3J cap Newton act on a particle whose position vector with respect to origin O is equal to vector R is equal to 4I cap minus 5J cap meter. Find magnitude and direction of the torque. As you know, torque tau can be found by using the formula vector tau is equal to R cross F. That is, vector tau is equal to vector R is 4I cap minus 5J cap cross vector F is 2I cap plus 3J cap. That is, vector tau is equal to I cap cross I cap is 0. So product of 4I cap into cross 2I cap is 0. Then 4I cap cross 3J cap, 4 into 3, 12. I cap cross J cap is K cap. It is K cap. Similarly, plus J cap cross I cap minus K cap. 5 into 2, 10. It is 10 K cap. J cap cross J cap is 0. So vector tau is equal to 22 K cap. Here magnitude of the torque is 22 Newton meter and direction is Z axis. So option A is correct answer. Question number 9. A particle of mass m moving in a horizontal circle of radius small letter r with kinetic energy capital letter K and time period capital letter T. The magnitude of the angular momentum of the particle about the center of the circle will be. So you know that when particle moving in a horizontal circle, angular momentum of the particle can be found by using the formula L is equal to mv into r. But in the problem, angular momentum is expected in terms of kinetic energy, time and time period. To convert this expression into kinetic energy and time period, I would like to multiply it by V and divided by V, multiplied by 2 and divided by 2. So that this expression can be written as, it is a half mv square into 2r divided by V. So this is a kinetic energy. To convert this into time period, I would like to multiply it by pi and divided by pi. So L is equal to, it is half mv square into 2 pi r divided by V into 1 by pi. That is, angular momentum is equal to half mv square is a kinetic energy K, 2 pi r by V. 2 pi r by V means it is a time period KT into 1 by pi means it is KT by pi. KT by pi. Option C is the correct answer. It is KT by pi. Question number 10. The radius of gyration K of a hollow sphere of mass capital letter M and radius capital letter R about certain axis is equal to R. Find distance of that axis from the center of the sphere. As given in the question, when a sphere is rotating about the axis, it has moment of inertia. And it is given in the problem that when sphere is rotated about certain axis, means about this axis, radius of gyration value k is equal to r. Now question asked in the problem is distance of the axis from the center of the sphere. To find out distance from axis to center of the sphere, we can just create axis passing through the center, and we can consider this distance as x, and this distance is asked, x is asked here. So to find out x, I can use parallel axis theorem, that is moment of inertia about this axis, moment of inertia about this axis, I is equal to ICM plus m into x square. That I is mk square, moment of inertia about the axis is mk square, can be written as mk square. ICM, it is hollow sphere, so ICM, moment of inertia of the hollow sphere about the diameter is 2 by 3 m r square plus m into x square. And as given in the problem, k is equal to r. K is equal to r. We can substitute k as r. That is m r square is equal to 2 by 3 m r square plus m x square plus m x square. That is m x square. We can subtract this one from this, which is equal to m r square divided by 3. M get cancelled. X is equal to r divided by root 3. So option A is the correct answer here. Question number 11. Two circular discs have masses in the ratio 1:2 and radii in the ratio 2:1. Ratio of their moment of inertia about the diameter is. These are two circular discs. You know that moment of inertia of the circular disc about the axis can be written as, axis is a diameter, so moment of inertia is I is equal to 1 by 4 m r square. Since ratio is asked here, I can write moment of inertia is directly proportional to m r square. Ratio means it is I1 by I2, which is equal to m1 divided by m2 into r1 divided by r2 whole square, which is m1 by m2. m1 by m2, it is given 1:2. 1:2 means 1 by 2 into r1 by r2. r1 by r2 is 2:1. It is 2 by 1 whole square. That is I1 by I2. After the cancellation, it is I1 by I2 is equal to 2 by 1, means 2:1 is the correct answer. Option B is the correct answer. Question number 12. A solid sphere rolls down from top of the inclined plane. Its velocity on reaching the bottom of the plane is v. When the same sphere slides down from the top of the plane, its velocity on reaching the bottom is v dash. Ratio of v dash by v is asked. We can first consider inclined plane. Solid sphere is kept at the top. It is given in first situation. When it is released, it is rolls and reaches the bottom. You know that total energy at highest point is potential energy only, which is mgh. mgh. When sphere reaches the bottom, since it rolls, it has translational kinetic energy as well as rotational kinetic energy. Translational kinetic energy can be written as half mv square plus half I omega square, which is mgh is equal to half mv square plus half into moment of inertia of the solid sphere. It is about the diameter, it is 2 by 5 m r square. M is the mass, where mass can be taken as small letter m, into r square into omega square. So mgh is equal to half m v square plus it is 1 by 2 into 2 by 5 m into r omega is v. So we can write v square. R omega is v, so it is v square. That is mgh is equal to half mv square 1 plus 2 by 5, which is equal to, that implies mgh is equal to, it is half mv square into 7 by 5. mgh is equal to half mv square into 7 by 5. This one can be taken as equation number 1. Now, same sphere, when it slides down on inclined plane, it reaches the bottom with velocity v dash. So to find out v dash by v, here we can consider at the topmost position, situation 2, second situation, potential energy here is mgh, it is mgh, energy at the bottommost portion, it is half mv dash square, equation number 2. This is equation number 1. Left hand sides of both equation is same, means right hand sides are equal, that is half mv dash square is equal to 1 by 2 mv square into 7 by 5. It is half m get cancelled. V dash by v is asked. V dash divided by v is equal to root 7 by 5 is the answer, which is option C is the correct answer. Question number 13. A solid sphere, disc and solid cylinder, all of same mass, made of same material, are allowed to roll down on an inclined plane. Then question asked here, which object reaches bottom of the plane first? To know this, we should write expression for time period when object rolls on inclined plane, which is time period t is equal to 2l by sine theta into 1 plus I divided by, I means moment of inertia, mr square. As given in the problem, inclination, angle of inclination theta is same for all the three objects and length of inclined plane is same. So this can be taken as constant. So I write t is equal to, in place of root of 2l by sine theta, we can consider as k into remaining portion is 1 plus I divided by mr square. Now for solid sphere, moment of inertia about the diameter is I is equal to 2 by 5 mr square. So if you substitute for solid sphere, I take Ts, which is equal to k into 1 plus I is 2 by 5 mr square divided by, this can be taken as capital letter M, divided by mr square, which is k into 1 plus 2 by 5, which is k into root of 7 by 5, means Ts is equal to 7 by 5 means it is 1.4 root 1.4 into k. Similarly, for disc or solid cylinder, moment of inertia I is equal to 1 by 2 mr square. Moment of inertia I is equal to 1 by 2 mr square. So solid disc or solid cylinder, I would like to take time taken as Td, which is equal to k into constant k into 1 plus, in place of moment of inertia, it is moment of inertia of solid cylinder or disc, it is 1 by 2 mr square divided by mr square, divided by mr square. Mr square get cancelled, which is equal to k into 3 by 2, which is equal to k into 1.5. If you just compare the time for disk and solid cylinder is k into root of 1.5. Time taken for solid sphere Ts is equal to k into 7 by 5. K into 7 by 5 means k into 1.4. So as already written here, it is 1.4. This is a smaller. So since Ts is lesser than Td, solid sphere reaches bottom first. So option A is correct answer. Question number 14. A hemispherical bowl of radius capital letter R is kept on a horizontal table. A small sphere of radius r, which is very much lesser than capital letter R, is placed at the highest point at the inside of the bowl and let go. The sphere rolls without slipping. Its velocity at the lowest point is asked. You just consider hemispherical bowl kept on a horizontal table, where sphere is kept at the top of the hemispherical bowl. When it is released, it rolls and reaches the bottom portion of the spherical bowl. Then velocity at the bottom portion of the spherical bowl is asked. That is, here we can use a concept of conservation of energy. At the topmost point means height, it is h is equal to r. Energy is potential energy. At top, energy is potential energy. Energy at top is equal to energy at the bottom. Energy at the top is, it is mg into r. Energy at the top is mg into r. Energy at the bottom is, it is a kinetic energy. Since it rolls, it has both translational kinetic energy plus rotational kinetic energy, half I omega square. That is, mgr is equal to half mv square plus half into moment of inertia of the solid sphere. It is 2 by 5 m into r square into omega square, which is mgr is equal to half mv square plus 1 by 2 into 2 by 5 m into r omega is v, it is mv square. So mgr is equal to half mv square into 1 plus 2 by 5, which is equal to 1 by 2 mv square into 5 into 1, 5 plus 2, 7, it is 7 by 5. So finally it is mgr is equal to, it is half mv square into 7 by 5. M get cancelled. Then velocity at the lowest point, v is equal to 2 into 5, 10 divided by 7 into gr. So velocity v is equal to root of 10 by 7 gr, root of 10 by 7 gr, which is option D is the correct answer. Option D is the correct answer. Question number 15. One end of a uniform rod of length L and mass m is hinged at end A. It is released from rest from horizontal position AB as shown in figure. Force exerted by the rod on hinge when it becomes vertical is. You just consider question number 15, the situation, a rod which is fixed at end A, other end of the rod is B. when it is released, it reaches the vertical position, which is B dash, and this is center is C. Now here, when a rod is along horizontal position, entire energy of the rod is potential energy. When it is released, you know that it rotate, not rolls, it rotate about the axis. So when it reaches the bottommost portion or vertical position, its energy is rotational kinetic energy. So at B, energy at B is equal to energy at B dash. Energy at B, which is mg, h is distance from topmost point to center of mass. That is, you know that length of the rod is L, so we can take L, it is mg L by 2, which is equal to rotational kinetic energy, it is a half I omega square. That is mg L by 2 is equal to half moment of inertia of the rod fixed to one end. When rod is fixed to one end, moment of inertia of the rod about the axis is, it is m L square divided by 3 into omega square. That is, these two get cancelled, m get cancelled, 1 L get cancelled, omega square is equal to 3g divided by L. Omega square is equal to 3g divided by L. Now, force exerted on the hinge when rod becomes vertical is a question. You know that when rod is in the vertical position, forces acting on the rod, that is normal reaction force upward and weight downward, resultant of these two forces gives centripetal force, that is N minus mg is equal to omega square r. Expression for centripetal force is omega square r. R is L by 2. Since the center of mass is at a distance of L by 2 from fixed end, it is L by 2. That is N minus mg is equal to m omega square value, it is 3g by L into L by 2. It is L get cancelled, N minus mg is equal to, it is 3 mg divided by 2, 3 by 2 mg. That is normal reaction force or force exerted at the fixed end of the rod is N is equal to 3 by 2 plus 1, it is 5 by 2 m into g. So normal reaction force is 5 by 2 mg. Option D is correct answer here. Question number 16. A uniform rod of mass m and length L is suspended by means of two light inextensible string as shown in the figure. Tension in one string immediately after the other string is cut. So here we can just visualize the problem once. That is, it is light, it is rod, uniform rod suspended by means of light inextensible string. Now the situation is so that rod is in equilibrium because sum of the forces acting on the rod upward is equal to sum of the forces acting on the rod downward are equal. The instant when string is cut from here, this rod moves downward. When rod moves downward, its center of mass of the rod moves downward with acceleration. That acceleration is because of the forces. the forces which are acting on the rod, if you just look at tension acting upward and mg, which is a tension, which is a force which is acting downward. Difference of these two, it is mg minus tension gives acceleration, mass into acceleration. Now question asked is, what is the tension in the string? Tension in the string can be found by using the formula tension T is equal to mg minus m into A. And here A is unknown. It is acceleration of center of mass of the rod. A can be written as, it is R alpha. If you know the formula, it is R alpha. That implies A into R. R is, it is a perpendicular distance from force to point about which the rod rotates. It is L by 2. This distance is L by 2. Length of the rod is L. So length from center of mass to other end, it is L by 2. It is L by 2 into alpha. Now we should find out alpha. Alpha is equal to, you know that when the instant when it moves downward, the rod experiences torque also. You know that because of the torque, it moves downward with some angular acceleration. Angular acceleration can be written as alpha. Alpha is equal to tau divided by I, which is torque is mg, it is a force, into perpendicular distance L by 2, divided by moment of inertia. Moment of inertia of the rod about the point is, it is m L square divided by 3. M L square divided by 3. Moment of inertia of the rod about the end, it is m L square divided by 3. Here m get cancelled. It is 1 L get cancelled. Alpha is equal to, that implies alpha is equal to 3g divided by 2L. Alpha is equal to 3g divided by 2L. That means A is equal to, acceleration equal to, according to this formula, L by 2 into alpha is 3g divided by 2L. L get cancelled. It is 3g divided by 4. Now tension is asked. Using this formula we can find out tension. Tension T is equal to, it is mg minus m into 3g by 4, which is equal to mg by 4. Mg by 4, which means option D is correct answer here. Question number 17. 3 rings of mass m and radius r are arranged as shown in the figure. Moment of inertia of the system about y dash is asked. We can just visualize the problem. 3 rings kept just like this. Moment of inertia is asked about axis y dash. Here moment of inertia of this system means it is a system of 3 rings, about axis y dash is, I take this as a ring 1, this as ring 2, this as ring 3. So moment of inertia of this system about axis y dash is I is equal to, it is I1 plus I2 plus I3, which is I is equal to moment of inertia of the ring about the diameter. You know, moment of inertia of the ring about an axis passing through the center perpendicular to the plane, it is I is equal to mr square. So here it is moment of inertia of the ring about the diameter, it is mr square by 2 plus moment of inertia of this ring about this axis. We have to use parallel axis theorem. I2 can be found by using parallel axis theorem. It is ICM, that is moment of inertia about the axis passing through the center. It is mr square by 2. mr square by 2 plus m into r square plus m r square by 2 plus m r square that is I is equal to mr square by 2, mr square by 2, mr square by 2. It is 3mr square by 2. 3mr square by 2 plus 2mr square. Mr square, this mr square plus this mr square, 2mr square. That is I is equal to 2 into 2, 4. 4 plus 3, 7. It is 7 by 4 mr square. 7 by 4 mr square. So option D is the correct answer here. Question number 18. A rod of length L is non-uniform. Its mass per unit length varies linearly with the distance from left end. Then its center of mass from left end at a distance x is asked. You know that as given in the problem, mass per unit length, mass per unit length, mass per unit length, I would like to take as rho, mass per unit length as rho, varies linearly with the distance. Rho is directly proportional to x, or rho is equal to constant lambda into x, constant lambda into x. Here we can consider a rod of non-uniform area of cross section. A small circular element, small element of this rod can be considered here. Its thickness is dx, and which is at a distance x from left end, and the total length is L. So you know that mass of element of thickness dx, mass of element of thickness dx, it is dm is equal to mass per unit length into dx. Mass per unit length, which is rho lambda x into dx. For non-uniform rod, center of mass of the rod can be found by using the formula xcm is equal to integration of x dm divided by integration of dm. That is, limit tends to 0 to L, 0 to L, then it is integration of 0 to L, limit 0 to L, limit varies from 0 to L, x into dm is lambda x into dx, lambda x into dx divided by 0 to L, it is lambda dm is lambda x into dx, which is equal to integration, limit varies from 0 to L, lambda into x square dx divided by 0 to L, lambda x dx. Lambda is constant, can be taken outside, and it's a common in numerator as well as denominator, so it get cancelled. So xcm is equal to integration of x square dx divided by integration of x dx. Limit varies from 0 to L. Limit varies from 0 to L. Integration of x square is x cube by 3. Integration of x is x square by 2. 0 to L. If you simplify this, so we'll get the answer. It is 2 by 3 into L. 2 by 3 into L means option D is correct answer. Option D is the correct answer. Question number 19. A comet moves in an elliptical orbit with eccentricity E is equal to 0.20 around a star. The distance between perihelion and aphelion is 1.0 into 10 to the power 8 kilometer. If the speed of the comet at perihelion is 81 kilometer per second, then the speed of the comet at aphelion is. You know that here a comet moves in a elliptical orbit. star is at one of the foci, I would like to consider this is a position of the star, and this position is called as perihelion. This position is aphelion. You know that when comet moves in an elliptical orbit, speed of the comet varies. And the speed of the comet is maximum at perihelion and minimum at aphelion. You know concept of angular momentum, L is equal to mv into r. If you use this concept, you can obtain shortcut formula to find out velocity at aphelion and perihelion. Velocity at aphelion, it is minimum because distance from focus to the when comet at aphelion is maximum. So velocity, minimum velocity V minimum is equal to 1 minus eccentricity E divided by 1 plus E into V maximum. V maximum is velocity of the comet when comet is at perihelion. That is substitution of 1 minus E is, it is 0.20, 1 plus E, 1 plus 0.20 into V maximum. V maximum is 81, which is 1 minus 0.20 means 0.8 divided by 1.2 into 81, which is 2 by 3 into 81, 327 times, that is 27 into 2, 54 kilometer per second is the answer, which is option D is correct option here. Question number 20, a rod of length L slides down along inclined wall as shown in the figure. At the instant when the speed of end A is V, then speed at the end B is asked. We can first draw the diagram. It is a rod placed on an inclined plane. This end is A, this end is B. Angle made by this end with the horizontal, it is beta. This angle is alpha. Point C, which is a perpendicular. Total length, this length is given as L. And this side value is Y, this side value is X. Speed at the end A is given, which is A. Speed at the end B is asked. So to find out speed at the end B, we can use the concept where component of Y along this side, it is Y cos alpha, plus component of this along this side, it is X cos beta, which is equal to length L. Now to get expression for speed, we can differentiate this. You know that as time goes, rod slides, that means that end A and end B attain velocity, but with respect to time, L does not change. So differentiation of L with respect to time is 0. So here we can differentiate apply differentiation on both sides of the equation. That is dy by dt is equal to cos alpha plus dx divided by dt is equal to cos beta. L remains same. So differentiation of L with respect to time is 0. dy by dt means speed of this end. We can replace dy by dt by Vb. It is Vb cos alpha plus dx by dt means velocity at the end A, that is it is Va into cos beta, which is equal to 0. Here Vb is asked, so Vb is equal to minus Va cos beta divided by cos alpha. Since speed is asked, this is a velocity. Speed means it is the magnitude of velocity. It is a positive. VA is V into cos beta divided by cos alpha. So option that is V cos beta divided by cos alpha, option D is correct answer. Question number 21. 4 holes of radius r are cut from a thin square plate of side 4r and mass m. Moment of inertia of remaining portion about z axis is how much? First we can consider a square plate. You know, it is rotating about z axis. When a square plate is rotating about z axis, moment of inertia of the square plate about z axis is I is equal to m into r is a value of side of the square plate. It is 4r. I can write 4r whole square. It is mr square by 6 actually. R is 4r. So moment of inertia, initial moment of inertia of the square plate is, it is 16 by 6 into mr square, which is equal to 8 by 3 mr square. Now to create 4 holes on the square plate, 4 discs must be removed. That means we should find out moment of inertia of each disc. Then we have to add the value. We get moment of inertia of the 4 disc. Now if we subtract moment of inertia of 4 disc from moment of inertia of the square plate, we obtain moment of inertia of remaining portion about z axis. You know, this distance is 2r. To find out moment of inertia of each disc about point O, this center I would like to take as point O. Distance from center of each disc to center of the square plate is required. This is A, point A. This is B. This one is C. This one is D. That means OA is equal to OB is equal to OC is equal to OD, which is equal to. So you know that the value of OA, OB, OC, OD is equal to, it is R into root 2. R into root 2. Now moment of inertia of 4 disc. Moment of inertia of 4 disc is, that is I dash I would like to write, which is equal to, I would like to take this disc has first disc, this one has second disc, this one has third disc, this one has fourth disc. Moment of inertia of 4 disc is I1 plus I2 plus I3 plus I4. And you know that I1 is equal to I2 is equal to I3 is equal to I4, which is equal to I0. So I dash is equal to 4 I0. Now moment of inertia of each disc about z axis, it is I0. I0 is nothing but, it is moment of inertia of this disc about this axis. We should use parallel axis theorem. That is, moment I would like to take for the timing, I would like to take mass of this disc as m into r square divided by 2 plus m into x square, it is root 2 into r whole square. That is I0 is equal to, it is m r square by 2 plus 2 into m r square, which is equal to 3 by 2 m r square. Now mass of the each disc, mass of each disc can be found by using the formula mass per unit area or mass per unit area of the square plate into area of the disc. It is capital letter M divided by 4r whole square into pi into r whole square, which is equal to pi m divided by 16. R square get cancelled. When I substitute this value here, it is I naught is equal to 3 by 2, mass is pi m divided by 16 into r square. Now I want to find out I dash. That implies I dash is equal to, that is 4 into this 3 by 2 into pi m by 16 into r square, which is equal to, that is 12 plus divided by 32 into pi m r square. This is 5. This must be 5. So this is also 5. Here it is 5. That means it is 20. So I dash is equal to, it is 10 by 16 pi m r square. Now moment of inertia of remaining portion after removing 4 disc, moment of inertia of remaining disc, it is, I would like to take as IR is equal to I minus I dash, which is equal to, I is moment of inertia of the disc, it is, sorry, square plate, it is 8 by 3 mr square minus 10 by 16 pi mr square, which is equal to, I would like to take mr square outside, it is 8 by 3 minus 10 by 16 pi into mr square. That is 8 by 3 minus 10 by 16 pi into mr square. That means option C is correct answer. Option C is the correct answer here. Question number 22. Uniform solid cylinder of mass m, radius r is placed on a rough horizontal surface. Horizontal force F is applied at the top point P of the cylinder so that it starts pure rolling. Acceleration of the cylinder is how much? You just consider a diagram where force F is applied at the top, at a point P force F is applied. You know that when force is applied on the cylinder, this cylinder rolls on the surface. Rolling means it has a translatory motion as well as rotatory motion. Here translatory, as far as translatory motion is considered, we can say that net force acting on a cylinder, that is applied force F minus frictional force acting opposite to the applied force. So we can write F minus F, which is equal to m into A. So this is a force which is responsible for translatory motion of the object. Equation number 1. And you can see here a rotational motion. A rotational motion is because of the torque. This applied force act at a point P makes this cylinder to move in an anti-clockwise direction, and frictional force also makes the object moves in an anti-clockwise direction. When object moves in an anti-clockwise direction, two torques can be added. It is torque due to this force is F into R, that is F into R plus torque due to frictional force, small letter f into r, which is equal to, you know that torque is always I into alpha, it is I into alpha. Now r is common here, it is f plus F into R is equal to I alpha. That is F plus F into R is equal to moment of inertia of the solid cylinder about an axis passing through the center perpendicular to the plane. It is m r square by 2. It is m r square by 2 into alpha is, it is a by r. 1 r get cancelled, it is F plus F is equal to, it is m a divided by 2. Equation number 2, this one, equation number 1. Adding equation number 1 and 2 gives left hand side F plus F, it is 2F, and minus F plus F cancels, which is equal to, it is 3 by 2 m into a. In the problem, acceleration of the cylinder is asked. So acceleration of the cylinder A is equal to, it is 4F divided by 3m. That means 4F divided by 3m is the correct option. Option C is correct answer. Question number 23. Rigid rod is rotating as well as translating on a smooth horizontal surface. Velocity of its ends at any moment are as shown below, and theta value is given, theta value is 60 degree, value of V2 is asked. We can consider the situation in terms of diagram, that is a rod rotating as well as translating. Velocity of the rod at the two ends are given. It is V1, and V1 makes an angle theta. V2 is given. To work out this problem, you know that velocity along the length of the rod at any instant of time is same. So we should find out velocity of this ends along the length of the rod. Component of this one along the length of the rod here, it is V1 cos theta. If I resolve, it is V1 cos theta. To find out component of this velocity along the length, you know that this is 90 degree, this is 90 minus theta, this is also 90 minus theta. This is theta, 90 degree, 90 minus theta, alternate angle 90 minus theta. Component of V2 along this direction, it is V2 cos 90 minus theta, it is V2 sin theta. In the question, value of V2 is asked. As already we have discussed, velocity along the length of the rod at any instant of the time is same. It is V2 sin theta is equal to V1 cos theta. That is V2 is equal to V1 cos theta divided by sin theta. That is V2 is equal to, V1 value is given, it is 5 into cos theta, it is cos 60 degree divided by sin 60 degree, it is 5 into 1 by 2, cos sin 60 is root 3 by 2, that is V2 is equal to 5 divided by root 3, it is 5 divided by root 3 means 50, 5 divided by 1.7, which is 50 by 17, which is 2.9 meter per second is the correct option. 2.9 means D is the correct choice. Question number 24. A particle moves along a circle of radius 20 by pi meter with a constant tangential acceleration. If velocity of the particle is 80 meter per second at the end of second revolution after motion has begun, the tangential acceleration is asked. Here radius of the circle along which particle moves is 20 by pi meter, and velocity at the end of the second revolution v is equal to 80 meter per second. 80 meter per second at the end of the second revolution, that is theta is equal to 2 into 2 pi. Question asked here is tangential acceleration. Tangential acceleration, it is A is equal to r alpha. A is equal to r alpha, that is A is equal to r into alpha can be written as, you know that initially it was at rest, then after second revolution it obtained velocity 80 meter per second. We can go for the formula equations of motion. It is omega square is equal to omega naught square plus 2 alpha theta. If I use this formula, alpha omega naught is 0, omega square is equal to 0 square plus 2 alpha into theta. That means alpha is equal to omega square divided by 2 theta, which is r by 2 theta. Here omega value v is equal to r omega. Omega is equal to v by r. Omega is equal to v by r whole square, which is acceleration A is equal to 1 by 2 theta into v square by r. Acceleration A is equal to 1 by 2 into theta is, it is theta is 2 into 2 pi, it is 4 pi into velocity. Velocity is 80 into 80 divided by radius, it is 20 divided by pi. Pi get cancelled, it is 180 get cancelled, 80 by 2, it is 40 meter per second square is the correct answer. 40 meter per second square is the correct answer. Question number 25. Uniform cylinder has a radius capital letter R and a length L. If the moment of inertia of this cylinder about an axis passing through the center and normal to circular face is equal to moment of inertia of the same cylinder about an axis passing through its center and normal to the length. Solid cylinder, it is a solid cylinder. Moment of inertia about an axis passing through center perpendicular to circular face. I would like to take this as I1, which is equal to mr square by 2. Same cylinder, when axis is axis passing through the center normal to the length. Same cylinder we can consider. Your axis is passing through the center and perpendicular means normal to the length. I would like to take this moment of inertia as I2. According to standard formula, moment of inertia of this cylinder can be written as, it is mr square by 4 plus ml square by 12. As it is given in the problem that I1 is equal to I2, implies that is mr square divided by 2 is equal to mr square divided by 4 plus ml square divided by 12. It is mr square divided by 2 minus mr square divided by 4 is mr square divided by 4, which is equal to ml square divided by 12. Get cancelled, that is 4 3 times. L is equal to root 3 times R is the correct answer. That is option B is the correct answer. Question number 26. Two sphere, each of mass m, radius r by 2 are connected with a massless rod of length 2r as shown. What will be the moment of inertia of the system about an axis passing through the center of one of the sphere and perpendicular to the rod? You just consider two sphere, solid sphere, separated by a distance 2r. Radius of each sphere is r by 2. R by 2. I would like to consider this as solid sphere, solid as P, this solid sphere as Q. Now we should find out moment of inertia of this system of two sphere about the center of one of the solid sphere. I would like to take this as a solid sphere about which we can rotate the system. That means moment of inertia about the axis passing through center Q, that is I is equal to, I would like to take moment of inertia of this sphere about this axis as IP plus moment of inertia of the sphere Q about Q as IQ, that is I is equal to, here moment of inertia of this sphere about this axis can be found by using parallel axis theorem. According to parallel axis theorem, moment of inertia of the solid sphere about this axis is ICM. It is ICM plus m into x square plus IQ, that is equal to, ICM is 2 by 5 m into r by 2 whole square, right? 2 by 5 m into radius of this sphere is r by 2 whole square plus m into, it is 2r whole square plus moment of inertia of this sphere about the axis, about the same axis, it is 2 by 5 m into r by 2 whole square, that is I is equal to, it is 2 by 5 m into r square by 4 plus 4 into m into r square plus it is 2 by 5 into m into r square by 4, which is I is equal to, that is, this is a 2 times 2, 4 by 5 m into r square by 4 plus 4 mr square, it is I is equal to 20, 40 times 80, 84, it is 84 mr square divided by 20, which is equal to, that is 21 divided by 5 into mr square, that is option A is correct answer here. Option A is correct answer. Question number 27. A solid sphere is rolling on a frictionless surface as shown below with the translational velocity v meter per second. If a sphere climbs up to height h, then value of v should be. Sphere is rolling on a horizontal surface. We can just visualize the things with the picture. It is solid sphere moving with a translational velocity v, has to climb up height h. So you know that sphere is rolling here. It is a rolling sphere. A rolling sphere on the horizontal surface has kinetic energy due to translational motion as well as rotatory motion. So we can write half mv square plus half I omega square. I would like to write which must be greater than or equal to potential energy at the top, which is mgh. So even if it is equal, it is possible, or if it is greater, then definitely it climbs to height h. It is 1 by 2 mv square plus half moment of inertia of a solid sphere, it is 2 by 5 m r square into omega square must be greater than or equal to mgh, that is half mv square plus half into 2 by 5 m r omega. R omega is nothing but it is v. It is v square must be greater than or equal to mgh. That is 1 by 2 mv square is common. It is 1 plus 2 by 5 greater than or equal to mgh, right? That implies it is half mv square into 1 plus 2 by 5. 1 plus 2 by 5 means it is 7 by 5 must be greater than or equal to mgh. M get cancelled here. It is v must be greater than or equal to square root of, it is 10 by 7 gh. V must be greater than or equal to root of 10 by 7 gh. Option A is correct answer here. Question number 28. A disk of moment of inertia 9 by 8 pi square kg meter square is rotating at 600 rpm. If frequency of rotation changes from 600 rpm to 300 rpm, then work done is moment of inertia as given in the problem. Moment of inertia is equal to 9.8 divided by pi square kg meter square. It is initial angular velocity omega 1 is equal to 2 pi f 1. It is frequency is given, it is 2 pi into initial frequency 600 divided by 60, which is equal to 2 pi into 10 radian per second. 10 radian per second, and omega 2 is equal to, it is 300 rpm, 2 pi into 300 divided by 60, which is equal to 2 pi into 5 radian per second. So initially disk was rotating with a frequency of 600 rpm. Now it is rotating with a frequency of 300 rpm. Then to decrease the angular speed, that much angular speed, what should be the work done is a question. Work done, according to work energy theorem, work done is equal to change in kinetic energy. It is half I omega 2 square omega 1 square minus half I omega 2 square. That is, work done is equal to half I is common, half into omega 1 square minus omega 2 square, which is work done is equal to half into moment of inertia is 9.8 divided by pi square into omega 1, it is 2 pi into 10 whole square minus omega 2, it is 2 pi into 5 whole square. That is, W is equal to 1 by 2 9.8 divided by pi square into, this is 10 square 100, 5 square 25, 100 minus 25, it is 75 into 4 pi square. 5 pi get cancelled, 75 4 times, it is 300. 300 into 9.8, almost we can consider this value as 10, 3000. 3000 by 2 means it is 1500. Value closer to this in the given options is, it is 1467 joule. Option A is the correct answer here. Question number 29. Angular speed of a body changes from omega 1 to omega 2 without applying a torque. But due to change in moment of inertia, ratio of radii of gyration in the two cases is. Here, as given in the problem, torque is 0. Because of change in inertia, angular velocity changes. You know that when moment of inertia changes, since no torque is acting on the system, initial angular momentum is equal to final angular momentum, that is L1 is equal to L2. L1 or angular momentum can be written as I omega. Here it is I into I1 into omega 1 is equal to I2 into omega 2. Moment of inertia can be expressed in terms of radius of gyration, that is moment of inertia can be written as m k square into omega square. I2 is m k2 square into omega 2. M get cancelled, it is k1 square divided by k2 square is equal to omega 2 divided by omega 1. That means k1 by k2 is equal to square root of omega 2 divided by omega 1. That means option A is correct answer here. Question number 30. A molecule consists of two atoms, each of mass m, separated by distance a. If K is average rotational kinetic energy of the molecule at room temperature, its frequency of rotation is. Here we can consider situation in terms of diagram. Molecule contains two atoms separated by distance a, and it is rotating about an axis passing through the center, right? Question asked here, it is a frequency of the rotation. You know, when molecule rotate about the axis, kinetic energy K can be written as half I omega square. That means omega is equal to root of 2K divided by I. I is the moment of inertia of the molecule. So you know that separation from atom to center A by 2 this side also it is A by 2. Moment of inertia is equal to, it is m A by 2 whole square plus m A by 2 whole square, which is m A square by 2. Just to substitute the value of I in the equation, which is 2K into m A square by 2. That implies omega is equal to 2 into 2 4. It is 4K divided by m A square, which is equal to 2 by A into root of K by m. In the question, frequency is asked. Omega can be expressed in terms of frequency, which is 2. Omega is equal to 2 pi of, which is equal to, it is 2 by A into root of K by m. 2 get cancelled. Frequency F is equal to 2 by pi A into root K by m. 2 get cancelled here. 2 get cancelled. It is 1 by pi A into root of K by m. Option A is the correct answer.